Hi guys, and welcome back to Hairdryer. We're laughing already because we've been laughing off camera. I don't even know why. I don't even know why. It's Friday night. Friday night feeling is back. Ladies in red are back. Firstly, I'll start with you, Nick. How are you doing? And thanks again for joining us.
I'm good. I seem to creep back in at the right time, don't I? I'm not doing it on purpose, girls, I swear. But thanks for having me back. And yeah, it's good to be spending my Friday with someone.
Love it, love it. And I know you said you got a date and it's with us tonight. Love that. I mean, they've got giggles
Oh yeah.
already, and I don't know what we're laughing at, to be fair, but plenty to spoil about. Obviously, the performance yesterday, and we're going to get into that in a minute. But firstly, Meg, I mean, I haven't even spoke to you about the game since yesterday. How are you doing?
I'm okay. I feel like I was laughing because literally just as Sophie went live, Nick went, they just slammed a can back on the table. But yeah, I'm okay. This is the first time I've not relaxed, but chilled during today. I've just had the most manic day. So I'm glad to just be sat down with my two faves, talking about football, really.
It's what we love to do. It's what we love to do. And Sir Man says, glad the Manchester United girls are back. It's more entertaining when United wins and Sophie and the girls do a show. Yeah, and we love doing a show after we've got a nice win as well. Of course, like Nick says, she seems to reappear when we win. I think it's a good omen, I would say. You're a good omen.
I'll keep it up. I've actually breaking news today, girls. I haven't got pink gin today.
Oh, okay.
Has the shop ran out?
I have got apple. Where is it? Apple, elderflower, and gin.
And what's your verdict? Good.
It's actually really nice. I feel like I'm cheating on pink gin, but it's nice.
Fair dues. I mean, Meg, I'm not sure how much of the game you saw yesterday. Obviously, I know like homeschooling and whatnot gets a bit tiring at times, a bit stressful, and it's an earlier kickoff. So I'm not sure how much you got to see or whether you saw the highlights, but positive performance. And firstly, I want to start on Dan James, a player who's had a lot of stick. I'm so happy for him yesterday.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've had 8 o'clock kickoffs since forever, and the one time that I needed it to be an 8 o'clock kickoff, it was a 6 o'clock kickoff. So it did me no favours, but I still managed to have it on in the background. But yeah, Dan James, just that player that will never light up the league technically. Is never, will never be the most gifted in terms of skill level. But he's that one player that gives it 100% until the very, very end. And you see that yesterday with the time that he got his goal. And it's not the first time that he's got a goal so late on in the game. I just love the fact that he just picked the ball up and just drives at the players. Okay, it doesn't come off some of the times, but when you at 90 minutes and the team that you're playing are down on their knees a little bit, and you've still got a player that will pick a ball up and literally run straight at a defender. As a defender, it's horrible to play against. I hate having to play against an attacker who gets the ball and they want to just go at you. You need to be someone like Aaron Wan-Bissaka to stop players like that. It's very rarely that you get a defender that will halt you in your in your track. But yeah, Dan James, fair play to him. The graft that he gives, the hard work all the way through the game, and I'm just glad that he rounded his match off with a goal, to be honest.
Yeah, obviously had a goal ruled out earlier on, and I was gutted for him. I saw you tweeted saying, "I hope so." Is it Social Reds on Twitter? He's obsessed with Yeah, she's obsessed with Dan James.
Someone needs to check on her. Yeah.
Yeah. And then obviously it was ruled out, and I was like, oh no, look, it's not going to happen. And then finally he got his goal, and well-deserved goal, wasn't it, Nick? I thought he played really well.
I thought that was stunning. I was just like, wait, because I was at my mum's, and my mum was just like, I told you, I'm possessed with the footballs, and then I wasn't expecting that performance after the deflating results. I wanted it, but I was actually being quite sarcastic, well, Thursday nights are back, what are you going to do? And actually, it was everything that I wanted to see, and I'm really chuffed for Jay. I think Solskjaer's Reds, I love you, I'm sorry, but I think sometimes he is a bit of a headless chicken sometimes, and I don't think that isn't always necessarily a bad thing. It's just finding the moment at the right time instead of just all this pace and just mental. But yeah, he found the right place, the right time, and finished it off beautifully. I thought it was brilliant, and I'm chuffed for him. I'm still seeing abuse for him online, which is just, girls, I can't comprehend it now more than ever. Why we're still seeing people ridiculing someone who's lost a pet. I physically can never relate to it. So that to me makes it even, not just as a football fan, but as a human being, to see him basically say up yours. Good on you, lad. Keep it up. Why not?
Exactly. I think we're all rooting for Dan James, whether you rate him as a player or not. Obviously, what he's gone through in his life before he comes to United and whatnot. It was a dream, and he wants to make his dad proud. You can only respect that and be happy for him when he scores. And if you can't be happy for Dan James, like you say, I just cannot comprehend that at all. And I saw similar in the week with obviously Jurgen Klopp and people ridiculing him after what had happened. And I don't care about rivalry in that sense because we're all human beings at the end of the day.
It goes out the window, rivalry.
Exactly. Like there's more important things in life, isn't there? In family, there's nothing that tops that. So I completely disagree with any abuse of that kind, and it's not on at all. And George Kylie's in the chat and he makes a very good point. I was going to touch on this. Dan James, obviously Real Sociedad, I'd say, played into our hands with the spacing behind it, allowed James and Rashford with their pace to get behind. But James, so many times as well, he was nicking the ball back. Positionally, he's so good. And a lot of times it's him who was nicking the ball to start the counter-attacks, wasn't it? He kind of defensively did a solid job, but going forwards on the counter-attack, that game was perfect for him, Meg, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I'm glad that the game was perfect for him, because I think sometimes we put so much pressure on him to perform when he hasn't even played for countless, games, and then he comes into the squad and we all expect him to do really well. And I'm just glad he took that opportunity to have a good game. That'll just feed into his confidence loads as a player, just that he was able to manage what he can do and literally do what he does best, and that's run at players, nick the ball and run at players. Like the goal that didn't stand is a shame, because if he'd have got a brace, even better for him. But just think for him, it must be so good for his confidence to be able to take his opportunity and get a full 90 minutes with now really no pressure on him. It's done now. He's managed to get that performance in and see where it takes him.
Definitely. Nippon says for me to check my DMs. I will definitely check them and get back to you about linking up. And thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much for the super chats. I really do appreciate it, and thanks for tuning in. And then this one is going to get you girls laughing. I'm going to have to read it because it's a super chat. But
I've seen this one already when you were talking earlier or something.
So Blue said, just found out that a polar bear screams when they take a dump, and now I can't stop imagining a polar bear screaming when taking a dump. Please help me. I think you need to, I don't know, watch Ladies Red, take your mind off it, because I don't want this image in my head as well, definitely. But thank you for the contribution. I appreciate it. I mean, Nicole's there literally thinking about a polar bear now taking a dump. I can see the cogs turning. What a random comment that is. But if that sums up our shows, that sums it up perfectly, doesn't
it's
it? The random
different to food. To give that person credit, it makes a difference to food. But I mean,
well, like, what was it? 100 tiny dinosaurs fighting against one big dinosaur or something like that. We had a question before.
No, pigeon.
Pigeon, that was it.
100 tiny 100 tiny pigeons. No, now you're confusing me, because I'm thinking of the polar bear. 100 tiny dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Or one giant dinosaur T-Rex sized pigeon.
What that was saying? The question. What did I say last time? I think I said the giant one last time.
Me and you said the pigeon, and then everyone else was just like, Emma and Meg was just like doing the dinosaurs dirty. I'm like, excuse me, they're extinct, and you're just going to disrespect them like that. Pigeons, just go Piccadilly Gardens, they're everywhere. It's fine.
Yeah, so this is, if you're new to Ladies in Red, we talk about football a little bit, and then the rest of the time we just talk about anything possible, to be honest with you. But we'll go back to we'll go back to the game yesterday. Dan James, we've mentioned, did really well. I thought Fred had another really good game as well. Rashford managed to score, obviously the nice through ball as well for Bruno's second goal. I saw people getting a bit restless in the first half. He missed two decent chances, let's say. He could have quite easily had a hat-trick. But do you think Maggie still does enough throughout the game to warrant starting? Because I saw people on Twitter yesterday in that first half saying, he misses too many chances, like he needs dropping. For me, like, is that player who has that special something. I mentioned it on my stream earlier. When Martial isn't scoring, he doesn't influence the game in any other way. Like, I want him to get on the ball even more. But when it's Rashford, I feel like even though he's not scoring, he still influences the game in some way. Would you agree with that statement?
Yeah, and I just think it's mad that people are still going on about it, and he still scored and assisted in the same game that we're saying that he didn't do enough. Like, okay, yeah, he could have scored more, but he still got his goal. He still assisted. He's, those kind of things feed into the stats, and I just feel like I feel like some people, not everyone, but some people always tend to look at the negatives. And then you're literally, like we said, we're talking about a player who scored and assisted. And like you said, I think as an overall player, he's got that little bit about him. He will still have an influence in the game. I feel like with Martial, and it's not disrespect to him, because sometimes got that resting bitch face anyway, but he looks disinterested. and his body movement looks disinterested. He doesn't quite go and close down players, whereas Rashford will. He'll still run back. He'll still give you 100% effort, even if he's not quite on it in terms of shooting. But yeah, for me, as a player who scored and assisted, I just don't get the disrespect on his name sometimes.
I totally agree with you there, Meg. I mean, Nicole, what's your stance on Rashford? You know me, I'm a big Rashford fan, so I'm trying to not be biased here.
I'm not going to do it. Right. So to be fair, and I'm not talking about the ones that go too far, but to be fair, sometimes he is the wrong man in the right place or the wrong man at the right time. Do you know what I mean? And you're just like, please just bury one of these chances. His decision making is sometimes questionable. However, I tweeted this yesterday. When he gets it right, he gets it also right. I still think he's a very special player. I still think he's you know, a talent like of his generation. Like our kids are going to grow up watching him like we did with like players previously. And I feel like if you put him in many other teams, he wouldn't get as much the criticism that he does. People would focus more on the positives. It would be more praise. But I think it's a similar thing with Ole. Like it's the focus always seems to be on what they've done wrong, not what they've done right. You know, but that's not going to help his confidence. I think sometimes it is his confidence. I think sometimes he's like me and he thinks too much. I'm not thinking about running though. I'm thinking about food. But you know, I think he thinks too much. And I think when he's at his best, he's just when just don't think about it, just do it. And I think what was it recently? His 250th appearance or something. He's only young. He loves this club into his soul. And I just think I think he's one of them. If he wasn't here, we would really miss him. And I think it's that kind of thing. You don't know what it's got till it's gone. So, so I appreciate what he does, and he just obviously just needs to concentrate on his finishing in the final third. But when he is clinical, he is perfect.
Yeah, I mean that's what I mean. I still think even though he doesn't score, like the amount of assists he's had this season as well, and some quality assists, by the way, letting me add on to that. Like I feel like even if he's not scoring, he still influences the game in other ways. Do you know what I mean? And that's why I feel like you keep him on. That he's effective.
Do you know what's bad though? This is like we'll probably all agree that he's not at 100%. He's not doing this at 100%. Like he's still influencing the game. He's still getting a goal and he's still assisting at like 75-80% of his performance level. Yeah. So yes, okay, he's not hitting 100%, and there's that 20% that you'd love him to just be able to be a little bit more clinical or find the right pass. But at 80% and still bagging a goal and an assist, that's fine with me.
Yeah, and big up to Doug who's in the chat. He says, ladies, I hope you are well. We've been giggling already, Doug. I'll let you know. We've been giggling already. We're doing very well. Friday night feeling, and still buzzing after yesterday's performance. But obviously going into that game, a lot of people like Sociedad, we've had 9 games against Spanish teams now. We've struggled, and we're going to struggle again because these are in good form. Be honest, girls, and I'll start with you, Nick, on this one. Like, did you expect us to turn them over the way we did?
No, I'll be honest. Like, I'm not a negative person. I'm always like, I always predict wins, even when inside I'm like, no. But no, I think they played to our strengths. I think, you know, we could obviously counter attack more and things like that. But I wasn't expecting that, and I was just like, well, it's Thursday. It's just like a mundane, like it's something that we have to get through. And I was really, really pleasantly surprised. And I actually said, like, just out of curiosity, will you give the manager the credit for this performance the same as you discredit him for when we don't get it right, or when, you know, teams don't play to our strengths? Like, will you give him that? But I mean, a lot of them still won't. But I think that is Ole's Manchester United at their best, you know? And there's still a long way to go yet. But I mean, I don't think you can really ask for more than that effort. And it was entertaining. Like when it started, I was like, oh my God, I can't keep up with this. It was just mental, wasn't it? And it was a bit shaky. You're thinking, oh, we're going to concede first again, and then we're going to flat. But we found that composure, and then obviously clean sheet for Hendo. By his scissor kick effort, I mean, iconic.
I was waiting for this to be mentioned.
That's my highlight
my moment of this season. I'm just like, this is why I stick up for Eric. Do you know what I'm saying? But no, yeah. So we had it all really, and like I wrote about. I know there's still a long way to go, but like times like that, I just think for me it makes it worth it. It helps me so much. It helps me mentally, raises me up, and like even better when it's a cheeky little surprise, you know.
Definitely. I'm like you. I thought this could be an awkward one. And especially after the first 3 minutes, I think if we're honest with ourselves, we could have been 2-1 down in 3 minutes. Like that start was absolutely volume. I was all over the place, wasn't he? Like in that first, didn't know what day it was, but He recovered.
Neither do I.
Yeah, and obviously we ended up dominating that game. I mean, Meg, one player in particular who's had a lot of stick of late as well is Harry Maguire. You'd say after the first few minutes yesterday, you didn't have a lot to do, but I thought he looked composed on the ball yesterday, and I thought he had a solid game.
Yeah, I think it's difficult when you don't have a lot to do to stay composed. So when you do get the ball, you don't make silly mistakes. And I think that whole back line, a clean sheet's a clean sheet at the end of the day. You've got to take confidence from that. Love the fact that Baye was back in there. We always mention him as probably one of our most, important players at times. He is one of those defenders that I just love his all-round character. He just throws himself into it, doesn't he? He doesn't hold back. He literally throws himself into it. But yeah, just so important to get a clean sheet. Important for the back line just to stay composed, stay with it mentally in terms of if you haven't got much to do, making sure that you do what you've got to do right, because you might only be involved in 5-10% of the game, but that 5-10% of the game has got to be on point. Whether you've not had the ball for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you're only getting a couple of touches here and there. Henderson's got to stay switched on as well. So, it was nice to get a clean sheet as well.
Yeah, definitely. And thank you to De Gea for the super sticker. Really appreciate that. And thanks for tuning in again. And I just want to read this one out because it's lovely. Ryan said, can I just thank Nicole for being so kind and lovely when we've interacted on Twitter. Appreciate the kind words. And I know seeing her tweets will always cheer me up. What a lovely comment. What a lovely comment, Fran. And
Thank
Nicole.
you, Ryan. Thank you, Ryan. That helps me knowing it helps you. Thank you.
Love that. And then Rashford's problem is the whole Rashford smash. Would you agree with that though? Sometimes do you think Rashford can shoot a bit earlier? Like literally, like there's times where I think he almost plays for the perfect goal, and when it comes off, like you say, Nikki, like whoa, like that was a worldie.
Yeah.
But when it doesn't, it's a bit frustrating, isn't it? Do you think that's what it is? Maybe he's just trying to overplay sometimes.
Yeah, like I said before, I think sometimes it's like overthinking, overplaying. But like now I've just got like polar bears and the Hulk in my head. Like I don't understand where this video's going, guys. Please.
No, to be honest with you, I'm a bit lost right now. Where do we go from this one? Another player who stood out yesterday, like I say, was Fred in the middle. I thought he nicked the ball back really well in that middle. High press was on a lot. His assist as well, by the way, for Rashford's goal. That through ball was perfect, wasn't it? I mean, you don't associate Fred so much with assists. I think in the final third it can be a bit frustrating at times. He turns into Fred Flintstone, I've said in the past, because he just can't seem to shoot, and he just
now I've got Flintstones in my head. Give me strength.
But yesterday, to be fair, Meg, I thought his all-around game was superb, and he was up there for me as man of the match.
Yeah, those kind of, I want to see more of them kind of breaking the line passes that he did. He literally split two players in half and like put the ball straight through them for Rashford to run onto. So I think if he can fit that into his game a little bit more. Are you drinking champagne, Save?
Prosecco.
Bloody hell, Friday night special.
Champagne.
Yeah,
Meg, you're letting the girls down.
That haunted me in my tracks. You literally
I've got a spare one here.
You know what, Nick? She hasn't even got the hoodie on. She's not even brought a drink. I mean, what's she playing at?
I told you, I've had a manic day. Yeah, talk about Fred splitting passes, and now I've got Prosecco and gin and all sorts. But yeah, if he can fit them a little bit more into his game, I'd like to see that, because he's obviously got the ability to do it. He's just proven that. If he can get his head up a little bit more, composure on the ball. We always say that he does the dirty work. He's always running around like a mad little bulldog in the middle of the park, isn't he? Like, he's here, there and everywhere, but a little bit more composure on the ball, and he'd find passes like that more often. And also I loved his celebration. When Rashford scored, he came running over, the smile and the absolute beam on his face, like he knew he'd done well. It was so good to watch. Yeah,
bless him. And to be fair, you always see his posting before matches when he puts the prayer hands and stuff, and you're always like, you always want Fred to do it. He's one of these players that you just can't not like him. Do you know what I mean? But like you say, he's like a bulldog in the middle, and I think that's what it is. I would absolutely hate to play against him because he just does not stop. I always compare him to like a wasp. You know, when you try and get a wasp and it almost chases you and you're trying to get it off you. Like Fred is that wasp.
We know about wasps.
Yeah, Meg knows all about wasps.
I don't hate Fred. I just hate wasps.
And thank you so much to De Gea for that contribution. I really appreciate it. And thanks, as always, for your support. We always say it, guys, but our channel would be absolutely nothing without you guys in the chat. And we always appreciate the atmosphere that it creates. And that's why we have such a good time, because you guys in the chat help us out with things such as like what would kill. Well, what is it? What would you rather fight? Loads of tiny dinosaurs or what big pigeon? Whatever it was.
Get
Keep
in
them
the
coming.
chat.
Keep them coming. Keep these.
The most
these
random
little comparisons.
questions are better in these times. I keep doing like daily entertainment on Twitter. I think everyone thinks I've lost a plot. Well, you're incorrect because I did a long time ago. But sometimes you just want to know like what someone's favorite accent is. Oh my God, what is that question?
Definitely
I'm
not.
I'm going.
Me, out of all three of you, it's because it's a prosecco. I look posh, but yeah, I'm not posh.
I'm very posh.
Going look into the weekend though. Obviously, we just said how we dominated Sociedad. We wasn't expecting it. Newcastle at the weekend. I mean, we've already said it. Newcastle games of the past, like the rivalry. I always dread playing against Newcastle, no matter how poor their season is going. It's a cup final when Manchester United come around, isn't it? It's always a cup final. But surely we should take some confidence from the result yesterday going into that one. And I'll start with you, Nick. Would you expect it to be a completely different game? Because Sociedad was so open. Steve Bruce football, it's not going to be like that, is it?
No, see, this is a thing. Like they did to get, even though I do appreciate the performance, they did play into our strengths. But we've seen with the lower league teams, on the prosecco. No, I'm not on the prosecco. I'm on the gin.
Nick's on the gin. All right.
Have we not met? Right, distracted. What am I talking about? Right. So obviously, when we play teams where they play into our strengths, and brilliant. But with this, obviously, with the lower league teams, as I was saying, like that's when we seem to like, when they sit back, that's when we can't seem to enforce like our authority. I never said my authority. Our authority in the game. What is happening? So no, nothing is guaranteed. I would expect them to treat it like we said, like back in the 90s, back in the 90s, growing up. It was always like that. You know, never put it past them to, you know, to surprise us, especially with our like inconsistencies at the moment. When we get it right, we get it also right. When we get it wrong, who knows? We probably will concede, but hopefully we'll go on to win. And that's not being me negative. That's just me being realistic.
Yeah. I mean, Meg, Newcastle, you'd expect obviously Wilson's out, Andy Carroll possibly starting up front. Lindelof is obviously the player that we've seen start in many league games alongside Maguire. We saw what happened against West Brom at the weekend. Is that one major fear for you, Andy Carroll up against Lindelof? Because I know that concerns me.
I think that's the be-all and end-all of this game. If those two play against each other, if I was Newcastle, I'd just be pinging balls up to them. We know straight away, we've seen it, that our Achilles heel is the back two or the centre two of the back four. And I just think that if I was playing them against Manchester United, I would be putting crosses into the box to see how they deal with them. Now, if you've got a player like Andy Carroll waiting for you in the box as well, that's two dangers. You've got the fact that United can't clear their lines properly. We've seen that against Sheffield time and time again. We've had that opportunity to clear the ball. They pounced on it and scored. And with Andy Carroll and his threat in the box as well, that's going to be...
I'm not laughing at you, Meg.
It's a difficult situation to manage. And I hope that we recognise that and have either learnt from previous mistakes or we've worked on it in terms of how we're going to manage a target player. And when the ball drops in and around the box, who's going to be onto it first?
Yeah, I'm Blue says, have people forgotten how many times the players got passed by yesterday? Last season, Lindelof was the only player not dribbled past. And yet, there's no denying it, especially in the first few minutes. Like I say, Boye was really shaky yesterday, no doubt about it. But I think the difference is he's got the pace to recover. And I think that is Isaac who plays up front for Sociedad. I think his pace, if it was Lindelof and Maguire, I think it could have been a different story. I think he was a threat at times. But I think Boye can down him because he's so quick. But I've always said with Lindelof, I think when the ball's on the floor, he reads the game really well. He's good with the ball at his feet. It's when the ball is in the air and aerially how he can compete against a bigger, stronger centre forward. And that's always what's concerned me. But I've said it earlier as well, Boye, is this player that you absolutely love, but would you say you wholeheartedly trust him? No, of course not, because it's rash.
It's risky, but for me, sometimes it's worth the risk.
Exactly, because he's got the pace to compensate. So it's a bit like Kyle Walker. You'd say he's not the best defender in the world, but he's got the pace to get himself out of trouble a lot of the time. And that's why he's so successful, I'd say. I'm not saying Boye is a Kyle Walker, they're completely different. But what I mean is when you've got pace, I just feel it helps you a bit more. And obviously, we mentioned Boye throws everything at it. I just feel like you give the likes of Andy Carroll more of a physical battle as opposed to Lindelof. But then saying that, we've said in the past that Lindelof, we've felt nervous when he started certain games, and he's turned out and he's had a worldie. There's no doubt about it, Lindelof has gotten his game. But after being bullied last weekend, do you think it's a confidence thing with him at the minute? anyone can talk on that one.
Yeah, potentially. I just agree with you in the fact that if you've got a player like Bailly to go up against, even if he doesn't win the ball, you've got
exactly.
more battle. Yeah, and then it's where the ball drops. If Andy Carroll can go against Bailly and keep hold of the ball, then fair enough. But I feel like that little battle, it kind of just throws an attacker off. Touch might not come off as nice as he would want it to, and then you've got the likes of Maguire or Wan-Bissaka around him to pick the pieces up.
Yeah, exactly. And this, I agree with George. The other centre backs are reactive, not proactive. I think Bailly is a bit more on the front foot, and like Nicole said, I think he is a bit rash at times, but you kind of love him for being that way. And even though he have players like Raphael, even Rojo at times, like you always want that player who a centre forward is going to fear.
Little spark, right now, like a little fire in the belly.
But right now, I think, like Meg said, if you're Newcastle, you're going to think, I want to put balls into the box. We know they're vulnerable at the back. We saw what happened against West Brom. And I just think that maybe a bit of a rotation would help. But I fully expect Lindelof to start. I'm going to say this now. I think Lindelof will start with Maguire. Because I mentioned his confidence, and he may be not obviously dreading playing against Andy Carroll. But at the same time, I think if you just drop him after a game like West Brom, I think that can do worse for his confidence long term. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it's always the wisest thing. I think Ollie's shown at times as well that he trusts players, in particular Lindelof, to be fair. And we've seen it with De Gea as well. But on a De Gea front, Henderson had a good game yesterday. Again, didn't have a lot to do, but when he was called upon, he was assured, wasn't he? He was confident. His distribution, I thought, looked better yesterday. Nicole, where do you see this situation heading? Do you think for now it's still De Gea number one and Henderson competing? Or do you think that Henderson is actually knocking on the door now?
It's a hard one because you can watch one game to the next week and you can completely change your mind. But I think I've always said that competition is healthy, and however much De Gea he has saved our bacon in the past. Let's be honest, you know what I mean. There's been times when we've been a lot poorer than him, and vice versa as well. And I think I'm not going to sit here and be like, right, it's over for Dave. You know, he makes too many. I'm not going to do that, but at the same time, I wouldn't put it. I wouldn't be completely against Henderson getting more chances. I just think it's that thing of just getting the balance right. Like yesterday was really scrappy, like we were saying the first few minutes. And with De Gea, I was thinking, you know, would he have kept his composure like that? I don't know. But no, I think De Gea for me is still number one, but I think he's very, very close to not being.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
Depending on the rest of this season.
Yeah, I agree. I think Henderson, when he's been called upon, he's done a really good job, and we can't knock him. But I think at the same time, it's like this loyalty to players I mentioned. Ollie has definitely got it, and I think that confidence-wise, look, De Gea is still a class keeper. There's no two ways about it. But he has made a few mistakes lately, and I think it's one of them. If you immediately drop him out again, like that could do worse for his confidence rather than actually backing him and hoping he can pull through.
It could do more harm than good.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm Blue said it was 4-1 last time when we played against, and Lindelof played against Newcastle, and that one goal was an own goal from Shaw. I remember he sliced it back into the net. But yeah, I think the important thing is, whether we play Lindelof or Bailly, regardless, I think Shelby, particularly in the middle, we need to stop the service up to Andy Carroll, don't we, Meg? I think that's what we need to target, because we need to stop that ball. And we did that in the last one. We didn't allow Newcastle to play out. We pressed them up high, and we need to do that again. And I think Freddie's vital to that in the middle, isn't he?
Yeah, I think if we can go about like we did the other night, last night, and just pick up the ball higher up the pitch as well, and not even allow them to come out, really, just try it. Obviously, you want to play football in the other team's half anyway, but the further up we go and nick that ball and put the pressure on their defenders, the easier it is for everyone. Stop the ball at the source, and we go from there. So, I just want to mention that Henderson and De Gea competition. I think it won't be forever until we say that Henderson is number one, but like everyone says, I think De Gea right now has still earned it. He's made a few mistakes, but allowing Henderson to play in games like we did last night will feed his confidence as well. So for the rest of this season, I would expect to see kind of Henderson in those cup competitions still, and De Gea having the league. It'll be interesting to see the further we get through these competitions what Ollie does, because normally you kind of see a cup goalkeeper going all the way through to kind of semis and then the final, and then it gets then the conversation comes in as who you're going to play. So if we do get up to that through the grounds into that progression, then that'll be interesting to see what we do with that one.
Yeah, you've mentioned Henderson in the cups and whatnot, and Nicole, I know you asked this on WhatsApp earlier, and I think it's a great question. But what do you think realistically we should target this season? Like, do you think we should like throw our eggs in one basket and go all out for the league, for example, or go all out to get Champions League football again next season, or do you think that a trophy is essential because we've seen how many semi-finals we've got to in the last few seasons. We keep questioning the mentality. Nick, that's got to be a big thing this season, hasn't it? Getting over that mentality.
Yeah, 100%, because it becomes kind of like the new normal. Oh my God, I shouldn't have said new normal. Never mind. But you know, it becomes like you kind of expect it. But I think I'm not right. Obviously, City are 10 points ahead of us. I'm not saying it's still on or anything like that. But what I'm saying is like, nothing is over until it's over. Having said that, me personally, however, I want to be in the top four. I want to be fighting for the title, but I want a trophy so bad. I just want Ollie to get a trophy because there's so many people. I've bookmarked tweets of people saying he's never going to win anything at this club. So I just want it just so I can just like retweet all them and just, hi.
Yeah.
I'm so bad.
Nick's drafts are ready.
She's ready. I'm ready for you. Can I just say, because I keep laughing. I've got to get this off my chest. Number one, every time Soph has a sip of that, I'm just thinking that there's someone watching at home thinking that Soph's posh. I love Soph to bits, but none of us are posh. And two, when you kept saying Lindelof, I don't know if you've seen like the United alternative commentary girls, but when everyone keeps saying Lindelof, you say Lindelof, right? You have to watch it. So I've got Lindelof in my head, Soph being posh, polar bears in the woods, the whole dinosaurs, pigeons, it's all happening. Keep them coming.
In the woods? You've added a second on that.
Oh no, I'm thinking of the bear in the woods. I'm going.
Meg, what if you were Ollie this season, what would you put first? We say, or do you think that we should still be in it to win it on all fronts? Really,
you've got to be in it to win it on all fronts. I like the fact that now pressure off, kind of in the second leg. So we've got this 4-0 lead. I would, you'd bound to see rotation when this next leg comes about, because not that I want to make it a nervy kind of second leg, but I just feel like we can go out and put Paps Diallo will get a start. Dan James potentially will play again. Mata might make more of an appearance in the couple of minutes that he got last night. So I feel like with a 4-0 lead, you're kind of comfortable. We don't want to make it nervy, but you can kind of just say pressure's kind of off a little bit. Squad rotation, that'd be a great game to manage that. But yeah, if you're in it, you got to be in it to win it. And I feel like if we do get to these semi-finals, we've got to get past it this year. A trophy for this group of players would be so important. Important.
And for the fans.
Yeah, but like just this group of players, if they won a trophy, for me, a trophy would be better than finishing second in the league. Obviously, like if you're in the final, you've got to go for that.
Meg, would you take a trophy? I'm not saying this because I don't believe it, but would you take a trophy over top four? Or are you not saying that? You're just saying that?
I don't think we'll drop out of the top four anyway.
No, I don't. But if you had to pick,
a trophy.
Ooh. Okay. No, I want. I'm all or nothing. I want one.
If you're in a final and you don't win
Go for it,
then you're absolutely fuming. I'm fuming, obviously.
I'm still fuming.
Imagine, like if we got to a final and didn't win it, but then we finished fourth.
You're like, yay, fourth.
Let's see what people are saying in the chat. So Tom says, I think top four is a big challenge now. Well, we already went into top four. For me, I don't want us to fall into that battle. I think at the minute we're slightly above it being in second, and I think we need to stay in second and stay elevated from that. I don't want us to slip into that, and that's my concern. No. You know what I mean? That's what I worry about. I don't want us to be known as the semi-final FC. We already had the theatre of draws. Yep, exactly. Trophy in top three, and I'd be happy, says Jockey. We're only 4 points clear in the top four. Exactly. And that worries me. Like, I think we need to obviously not drop so many points. Top four priority, but we'll go to win all beyond Manchester United. I think subconsciously, I think Ollie's target will be top four. Like the fact that we're in a title race, obviously, it's a great title race. Yeah, it's a great position to be in. The fact that they're or thereabouts, should I say? I think that's a better way of phrasing it. But Ollie, deep down, I think his target would have always been top four. And I always said, I think we said it on Ladies Red, to be fair, before the season even started. We always said that our target this season should be to narrow the gap between the likes of City and Liverpool and us, close that gap. I mean, Nicole, obviously there's still a long way to go in the season, but do you think that Ollie's doing that? Does he deserve credit?
I do think he deserves credit. And like I said, people keep thinking I'm putting him on a pedestal. I'm not putting him on a pedestal. He does not always get it. I need to lie down. I need to lie down. Do you want to do that first? Because
go on, let's do it. Who wins? 36 snails who have spoons as a weapon, or 30 shrimps who have one big stick as a weapon?
You were talking, Sophie, and I can see the comment on the side, and I'm thinking, when's she gonna put this up on the screen? Like,
wait, I have to think
firstly
about
for the contribution. Secondly, you know what? I have been thinking about it, Nick. I've been thinking about it a lot. And snails have got a bit of armor on their back, so I'm going with a snail because they've got a bit of armor going there.
If you like train 30 shrimps with a stick, they could just move it and wipe them all out.
But wait, yeah, but the shrimps have one stick, the snails, it's plural spoons, so all the shrimps only have one stick.
30 shrimps have one, yeah, but you just wipe it out. Dude, I don't even know if shrimps have arms to carry the stick.
Snails are slow. Snails are slow.
Turn around.
The snails can't move the spoons and they are slow.
I would know this as well, to be fair, but I love the randomness of it though. But yeah, Nick, you were saying about Ollie. He deserves credit. We have closed that gap a bit. And obviously, you have to understand Liverpool have had the ring as well, and that contributes to it. But in terms of our football and our progress, we're getting there, aren't we?
Yeah, however much, like, I was having a bit of banter and saying, like, it's winning 2 titles in a row isn't for everyone. There's obviously these other things that come into play. And as we were saying before, I think you should always keep it. Don't get me wrong, like, there's an intense rivalry, but I think you should always keep it like on a professional level and not go personal to Klopp, because that might come into play. You don't know. But we've definitely welcome. We've definitely showing as where we stand right now. I'm confident that we'll finish in the top 3. I'd rather stay where we are now, but anything can happen. And I think, as we were saying, I wanted us to finish 3rd, and I wanted us to close the gap between City and Liverpool. Like, City, there's still time to close the gap, and Liverpool, they're below us. So there you go.
Yeah. I want to say a big welcome to Torval, and I apologise for the randomness, but when you come to hairdryer treatment, unfortunately on Ladies Red, there is a lot of, not unfortunately, I'll say fortunately actually, there's a lot of random comments that go on, and we get involved and sucked into the debates. And I've been sat here, Nick, I wasn't laughing at you, by the way. You have to always explain why you were laughing. I'm not going to explain why I was laughing.
Okay.
Some of the people with the logical answers to that question in the chat was just making me laugh. Like, snails will be too slow to avoid the stick. I'm with the shrimps. Like, the comments like that just tickled me. Like,
I like the fact that someone asked, what kind of snails are they?
It's the way that people are really thinking about it. And then Blue confirmed it's a big stick, not a small stick. So that changes.
I'm so glad that says stick, because for a minute then.
Dehaya, thank you so much for the contribution. He says Dame Solskjaer, OBE. Wow, thank you so much. I appreciate that. What sort of snails are they? I've just seen that one, Meg. Top 3, you guys will finish the games. Meg, are you confident on that we'll finish top 3?
We're sat in a position that we are right now for a reason. So I think the way that we have been playing and performing and still picking up points, you've got to be confident enough to say, that we're going to stay there. We've put ourselves in a brilliant position at this point in the season. So why can't we continue that?
You're still going on in the comments. You started something there, but definitely snails and shrimps wouldn't be able to move the spoons or sticks. There's another one in the midst. But yeah, I think I'm like, I want to be confident and say yes, we're definitely going to get top 3. I think the whole total talk, I mean, we kept saying top of the league because it was so nice to say, but we all know that it's Man City's to lose.
That's why I was enjoying the moment.
Exactly. But I think that we're closer to that and we're there or thereabouts. I completely agree. And I think, like you say, it would be so good to get a trophy as well. But what's the point of staying top of the league and all that and beating certain teams when you're going to drop points against the likes of West Bromwich Albion? Do you know what I mean? I think Newcastle this weekend, we need to change that, and we need to actually, I think firstly we need to start quickly. I think the fact that Sociedad come at us yesterday, I don't know if that kind of helped us because it was so open, so we had no choice but to start quickly. Do you know what I mean? Newcastle's going to be a different one. It's going to be more like the West Bromwich Albion game where they're going to sit in and we've got to be patient and try and break them down. But yeah, in terms of the Newcastle game, I'll start with you, Meg. How confident would you say you're feeling going into that one?
The fact that Newcastle are on this kind of slump right now, and we've just come off the back of a 4-0 win. If we're not confident going into this one, then the whole mentality of the club is wrong. Then really right now we should be flying high after a 4-0 win, with the fact that we've gone away from home and done that. So yeah, this whole mentality against the teams in the lower half of the league, we've got to be changing that. I don't want to see goals going in the first 3-5 minutes like we did against Newcastle before with the own goal. So yeah, for me, I am confident going in, but I just want to say that I'm confident going in and then actually go out and perform and get the points as well.
Definitely. Big up to Football Terrace. Terry's in the chat. Make sure you go and subscribe over there. Doing really, really well. Some great content. I think Kendall's show is tonight at 9 o'clock, isn't it? I was talking to Kendall earlier, so make sure you go and switch over for that one. And thanks for tuning in. And as he says, go and smash that like button, please, guys. I'd appreciate that. But yeah, I saw Terry say just that we need to lay a marker down against Newcastle. Nick, do you think that it is that? Obviously, there is the old rivalry going on and whatnot. And like I said earlier, no matter how poor Newcastle season is going, we've still got to be wary of them. And this is the kind of game where we've seen us drop points in the past. There's no room for complaints this season.
No, I think this is more than ever. Like, these are the teams that you have to show respect to. I think probably the first 5 or 10 minutes will set the tone for the whole game. Like, I honestly think it's that kind of slump. It's a mental battle. It's a physical battle, especially if we can't really, as you said, we had to start fast yesterday, but it's whether we can do that. And so I think how we start, like Meg said, how we go into it. Mentally, it will play a big part. But yeah, this will be a cup final. Some things never change, and I just hope that we can break this curse thing of up down. I want to be up and I want to stay up, just once, please. But yeah, their recent form, obviously, it's like draws and losing, and as wins and drawing. So I would rather get a win and just start it out.
Of course, we'd rather get a win, definitely. Obviously, Cavani, he didn't travel yesterday. He's got a knock, and obviously whether he starts or not is to be known, or who knows. But if he doesn't start, what would you do? And Meg, I'll start with you on this one. Would you start with the same front three, which means Dan James starts again? Personally, I think it's going to be more of a low block against Newcastle, and Dan James doesn't. That's not really his style of game. He's going to have his back to the goal a lot. You want him to be able to run into space like yesterday. So personally, I don't think that works. But do you think that Ollie would go with that same front three as yesterday? So you had obviously Greenwood, Rashford, and Dan James on the right, or would you start Martial up top?
For me, I'd probably start Martial up top. I just think, like you just said, the game probably might not be as open. They won't sit as high for the space in behind for Dan James. Someone that hopefully you can, off the back of that performance, you can bring on when the game gets a little bit more stretched, perhaps second half. And if we are leading and they're going to push forward a little bit more, that's when you can go and count on them a little bit and bring the likes of a Dan James on that will go, like I said, go and exploit that space in behind, go and run at players. But yeah, I probably would say that Martial would start.
Yeah, I think I would do the same. Nick, would you do that and then put Greenwood on that right?
Yeah, I'm with you girls. I would do exactly the same. I'm sorry, I'm just thinking about cavemen and astronauts. So yeah, but I did write Rashford, Martial, and Greenwood.
But with Greenwood still staying on the pitch, I hope that he bags the goal sometime soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm literally praying for him to just stick one in the back of the net. I don't care now whether it comes off his arse cheek. Yeah.
He got into positions yesterday, didn't he? There was one where I saw the clip of it on Twitter afterwards as well, saying, look at Greenwood's feet. He did a little step over, came onto his right, and he tried to whip it to the near post. And he just dragged a few shots yesterday. But he's definitely getting in the right positions. And like you say, Meg, I hope he scores sooner rather than later for his confidence. But he's still trying. And I like that. He doesn't hide Greenwood. He wants to get on the ball. It can go either way. He's not. He's fearless.
He's contract, girls.
But that he's still having a go. He's still clever enough, although it was given off as offside in the previous run up to the goal. He still laid that ball to James.
Yeah.
Who James had now done pretty much a better opportunity to score than Greenwood. But he went through. A player low on confidence, he could still snap at that and just take the shot on. And he actually thought about it and laid it off. So whilst he hasn't been scoring and he's perhaps rushing a few of the shots, he's still switched on enough to go, actually, you've got a better opportunity, which I like to see.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much for this super chat. Because Blue's crazy, I'll ask one of mine. Cavemen or astronauts in a fight, who wins? Nick, I see you having a good think about it. What do you reckon? And by the way, the astronauts do not have weapons. I'm going to add that one on there.
If the astronauts don't have weapons, cavemen, like, you know, I don't think the language was as advanced as ours is. So they just like very like, so, you know, just like make things and just whack people over the head with it and just don't care about it. Whereas
The sound
astronauts,
effects.
like,
Sorry.
sorry, like, do
Oh.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I actually knew exactly what you meant.
But yeah, so I think the caveman would just go sick, but who knows?
Like, cavemen always strike me as being a bit mental. Like you say, maybe it's because of that language barrier and you have no clue what they're saying and stuff like that. I'm talking
And
like
they
a
can make
caveman.
things out of it. They make like things that like we used to make clothes out of animal skin. I've been homeschooled a lot, sorry,
Yeah.
but you know, so they're very resourceful.
We all have. To be fair, I think we all have.
That is my life story.
Mate, what do you reckon? A caveman or an astronaut?
I'm going straight for caveman. Just
Caveman. I reckon.
that was me. That was me with a little.
They're stronger. They're stronger. Yeah.
More like a bloody wizard with a wand.
Oh,
Mark's just added the dinosaur into it. Oh god, it's all kicking off again. The dinosaurs are coming back.
About the dinosaurs.
And then I'm blue again. Do you think space shrooms exist? If not, then what do aliens eat? Good question. Good question.
If we carry on the way we're going, they'll probably eat humans.
Ross, this isn't coming from me. I'm just participating in a debate in the chat. But yeah, let's get back to this weekend anyway, with some random suggestions coming in. And the Prosecco, I'm not quite kicking in yet. I think I'm still overthinking. My mind's a muddle, and it's not the Prosecco. It's the
I'm
puzzles
still
that
thinking about this polar bear thing. Is really confusing me.
Exactly, but I love the randomness anyway, guys. Keep the randomness coming.
It. Keep it coming.
For score prediction time, I'm going to obviously ask you to your score predictions, and people in the chat as well. Please get involved and let us know your score predictions. And obviously, if you feel like certain players are going to score, add them on the score prediction as well. Go on, Meg. I'll start with you on this one. Newcastle United. We are at home, which you'd say hasn't been the best of places for us recently, but we are at home. What's your honest prediction?
I think it might be a little repeat of last time when it was 3-1. I feel
4-1.
like 4-1. Oh, okay, 4-1.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's not going to be a repeat then.
You don't think it's going to be a repeat?
You think 3-1?
I'm going to go for a 3-1. I think we will concede, but I think we'll score first.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll concede first. I think we'll score first.
So Amareza says 3-1 to United. Martial 2, Bruno 1. Ryan, just the 8-0 from Ryan. I hope you're right. Twisted said 5-0. 5-0. A lot of clean sheets coming in actually. XS says 3-0. Martial bags 2 of them. Sharik said 7-0. We've got a 3-1 here from Ross. A 5-2. That's a bit of a random one. I wasn't expecting a 5-2.
What's your thought process behind that, Mark?
The fact that we're going to concede but also score a lot, so I'm guessing it's the thought process behind that one. I Love a Villa says 4-1. Bruno scores 2. Rashford and Greenwood. Connor's laughing at the chat messages. Yeah, some of these chat messages.
Welcome to our life.
Yeah. 2-1 to United. A lot of people are predicting United wins, which I like to see. 3-0, 3-1, 4-1, 2 for the Screaming Bear. Yeah.
Okay.
Nick, what are you thinking?
I don't mind. I don't mean to be a copycat, but I was actually thinking 3-1, and I think I would really like we were saying before, I'd really like Greenwood to get a goal, and I would also really like Martial to get a goal because I think he's got a lot of stick recently. All right, it has been warranted at times. I don't think he's been at his full potential. I don't think he's worked as hard as he possibly can be, but I think it would do him the world of good and us the world of good, and it would show, that he's still worthy to be playing for Manchester United. What are we laughing at now, guys?
Because I am too smart, I did clock it as well.
I didn't until he's just put it in the thing. And I was like, why wouldn't she say her name? And I was like, oh. Nick's still working it out.
Read the name, Nick. Read the name of the chat.
Don't read it out loud in your head.
Oh, that's naughty. And you needed an apostrophe in that.
Look, you tried to catch me out earlier on. And yeah, I just missed it. To be fair, did Robbie get done by one the other day on AFTV again? It made me laugh. Was it a master based or something like that? But it was like splitting free and he proper got done. It wasn't me, but Robbie got really done and it made me laugh. So people laughing to the side of him. You got to be careful on these chats because people will try and catch you out.
Well, I'm slow anyway, so you won't catch me out.
I don't know if you two watch anything to do with the Kardashians, but apparently Kim has filed for divorce. I'm just letting you know. That's been in the chat. I've seen a few people mention that now. So if you follow the Kardashians, I mean, I don't, but I thought I'd let you know. Breaking news going on there in the chat. Thought I'd let you know. But
Go on, Kim. Single and ready to mingle. I really have no idea what's going on.
No. My prediction then. So you both said 3-1, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say. I'll never do clean sheets, and I'm gonna predict a clean sheet. I'm gonna say 4-0.
Oh, I would like that. Twice on the bounce.
It's a Prosecco, I think. Yeah.
I was going to say, you never could like predict a clean sheet. You're always like, yeah, we'll concede.
Yeah, I'm going to say.
I'm shocked. I hope you're right.
I hope I'm right too. Well, to be fair, I hope that 8-0 or the 7-0 or whatever was said in the chat is right as well. But I just want a United win. And I know that we'll be buzzing either way as long as we end up with a win. And hopefully a positive performance as well. I think that's something that we want to see, isn't it? Especially after obviously what happened last night. I think the positivity, the fearlessness in our play, the counter-attacks, the pace in which we broke at, obviously it's going to be a different kind of game. But I'm hoping that we can still up the tempo in our play and bag a few goals. So, yeah. Ladies, I mean, it's been random, but it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much again for coming on. I really appreciate it. And can I just say a thank you to everybody in the chat. If you are new, please do hit the sub button. I'd really appreciate it. Hit a like on the video as well. Obviously, drop a like for the ladies and make sure you follow Nicole and Meg on their socials as well. Girls, I'll start with you, Nick. Shout out your socials. Where can people find you?
Where's my hand? It's right there. United She Stands with an X because I'm awkward. And thanks for having me, Soph. It's always a giggle. And like you said, everyone in the chat, if it wasn't for them, we'd just all be sitting here laughing at ourselves. So, you know.
Yeah, definitely. We were doing that.
To
be fair.
Yeah, to be fair. Yeah.
Make sure you follow Nicole. Obviously, she writes some fantastic articles. There's one you uploaded the other day. So if you haven't already, go and check that out, definitely. And then, Meg, shout out your socials and where people can find you.
As always, I'm at Megan Can with an underscore and back on here. Also, just want to apologise because Sophie and I didn't do a cool down the other day, but just time ran away with me this week. So we'll be back doing the cool down shows after the games. But yeah, just a huge apology for those who, because I know a couple of people messaged to say, why haven't you done a show after the game or what's happened? Why is there no show? But yeah, just time ran away with me this week. So we're back and doing the cool downs as of the next game.
Yep, as a Newcastle game.
Seagulls are evil.
I was like, what the hell are you talking about? So, I didn't even clock the comment.
I'm Blue.
Yeah, I know what you want
to think about. And thank you so much again for the contribution. I'm Blue said last one. Seal, who uses a small stick as a weapon, not a big stick, versus 6 seagulls with sporks as weapons.
The seagulls are evil.
Seagulls.
Seal, who's a small stick as a weapon.
I get bullied by the seagulls.
That's gone over me, I'm afraid.
So we got a seal who uses 1 small stick as a weapon, or 6 seagulls with sporks. Seagulls for me.
They'll nick your chips with them sparks on.
For one, roses are red, Manchester is in blue, Notts Forest and Villa have a Champions League unlike you. I like it. I like the little rhyme. I like it. It was Valentine's Day the other day. The roses are red, violets are blue. I thought that was where it was heading. Thank you so much for the super chat there. I really appreciate it. Thank you for that, Jockey. Says awesome channel. Yeah, it's been emotional. I've got to say, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. Fingers crossed we have a positive performance at the weekend from United. And like Meg says, we will be back with a cool down. Nicole will be back with the next ladies in red. So until then, guys, keep smiling and we'll see you soon.